Welcome to the More Life Podcast, where creatives, problem solvers, and entrepreneurs talk about squeezing more out and finding meaning in this crazy thing we call life. Let's dive in. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the More Life Podcast. I'm your host here today, Bart Aniston, if you're new around here. And today we have a very special guest in the building. We have Janna Estrada. Janna is the CEO and founder of Janna Bakes, and she runs a bakery, a service as well. So we're going to talk a lot about that, her whole journey coming up. But first and foremost, Janna, please say what's up to the people.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Bart. I'm so nervous right now.
It's all good. We usually have a lot of people who have never done a podcast before on the show, and that's kind of the
Mhm.
point. We're not looking for like seasoned vets. We're looking to share stories of people who are finding their way through entrepreneurship and through business ownership, and talk a little bit about some of the learnings that you've been learning along the way through the journey. So first and foremost, I would love, this is what we do all the time, I'd love for you to explain to everybody what is it that you do in your own words, because no matter how I try to explain it, you probably have something that you always tell people when they ask what you do.
Okay, so I am the owner of a cake business. I do custom orders, but I actually am trying to go towards more creating cake boxes, which gives me the creative outlet to make whatever flavors I want. And
Mm.
yeah, and like really get into that creative outlet that I kind of lost for a lot of years. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
What is a cake box? I'm not a baker. I don't know what that means.
Oh, right. So so cake boxes, they're around 3 inches by 3 inches, 2.5 inches
Okay,
big. They're square. And it's basically just a trifle cake
got it.
inside a little clear box. And it's really cute and it's good for 1 to 2 people. And it
Oh,
ended up being a market favorite. Like it wasn't something that I was really aiming to do.
yeah. And how old
Yeah.
is the business?
So my business overall, it's 6 years
6 years
old.
old. Okay. But you took a break in between. So let's start from the very beginning. What you seem young. I don't know. You could be 50 for all I know. You
Mhm.
seem young. So what did you do after school? What did you go to school for? What did you do after school? Why baking? Are you a trained chef or pastry master extraordinaire? Tell us about it.
So I went to school for sociology.
Okay, of course.
Wild, wild. I feel like the more I tell the story, it's gonna be like, what? So
Yeah.
I wanted to get into psychology actually, but then I flunked my second year courses, so I ended up with sociology, graduated with that. Then afterwards, I decided I wanted to improve my baking skills after starting my business in second year, and I went to baking and pastry program at George Brown.
Got it. And
Yeah.
from there, you found that passion for baking, and you were able to apply it in a way that was real for you. So talk to us a little bit about like why you love baking and how come you maybe left one thing to try to do another thing. Sociology is, hey, it's for someone, but clearly it wasn't for you.
It's actually funny that you say that because I'm actually doing both right now.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm also in school for psychotherapy. So,
Really?
yeah.
So what made you want to do this as like a profession then, or to transition to say, you know what, I can make money from this. I'm going to transition
Mhm.
into something more in the baking side.
Okay, so second year I was part of a club and I did a lot of like bake sales for philanthropy,
Mm.
for charity reasons. So just seeing the reaction that I got from when I would bring this little cute thing to somebody and how happy it makes them in the smallest thing, like it really brightens my day and it really it oh my god, I'm like losing my words, but it just
It added fulfillment to your
it's
life.
fulfillment, the connection to the
Yeah.
person, and Yeah, it's just something that I live for. Like I live for the connection with people.
And people love to connect over food, which like especially the sweet stuff, right? People want to always have a treat or a dessert or a snack that's comforting, and you're helping them do that. You're helping them accomplish that. So it's something that's shareable, something that's that they can have with somebody else. That's it is fundamental, but it's also very powerful as well,
Hmm.
to be able to share something like that. And I'm not a baker by any stretch of the. Like, I can cook pretty well. I would say that that's more my jam. But doing baking takes a lot of precision and practice, and you went to school for that. How does that? How do you convert those skills into like a business? Because business skills is a completely different set of skills. So I'd love to hear how you started transitioning from, yes, I have the skill sets to make these confectionaries or baking or cakes, but now I want to transition this into a business. Did you do a business plan? Did you talk with a consultant? Did you have a program in your school where you can speak with a counselor? How did that work?
Oh, okay. So, in school they taught us business, the business aspect of a bake a baking business. So I learned a little bit from there, but honestly, it was from experience. Like,
Yeah,
it was hard. Like, I think like 4 years of the business, I was kind of just doing whatever, and it showed because I wasn't making any profits. I burnt out really quickly. That's why I took a year off.
yeah,
So this was the year that I really concentrated on the business side, and it's really starting to pay off. Like consulting people. I rent a shared kitchen, so
nice.
I yeah, I talk with the owners a lot, asking about their feedback, what is successful with them, and like what they found members like, what works for them and stuff like that. And my partner is also a successful business owner as well, so I get a lot of advice from him.
Yeah.
Um, Business plan wise, I'm still working on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. It's a work in progress. It's evolving. But you mentioned something
Yeah.
interesting there. You said you burnt out very quickly. What
Hmm.
what inside of your storyline, caused that to happen? From what I understand, you can work really hard at something, especially when you're doing a creative process, but it
Mm.
takes a certain amount of discipline and mental resolve to keep going and pushing. And a lot of entrepreneurs have to face that, where it's like, I'm being pulled in so many different directions. How do I keep my head straight, and how do I keep pushing forward? Because on paper it sounds very easy. You just bake stuff, right? Like, it's simple. But in actuality, that I guarantee you, you could probably confirm that it's not the case. It's not that simple.
No, it's not simple at all. I burnt out because I wasn't costing my products properly.
Yep.
So they were cheap, and of course people really like that. And I was also not baking things that felt aligned with me. I was baking things kind of like people just gave me pictures and then I just try to bake whatever that is.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of like it reminds me of people pleasing in a
Of course.
sense,
Of course.
like just undervaluing myself and
And you
kind
just
of
want to
just
get the
pleasing.
job.
Yeah, I just wanted the job and it was not sustainable at all.
Yeah, a lot of people go through that. I went through that. It's the same type of thing where it's like, I'm just need to make money right now, and whatever it takes to make money. Sure, you want this, and this is your budget. I'll make it. I'll figure out a way. And at the end of the day, you end up not making any money, and the people who are not willing to pay a fair price are usually the worst kinds of clients, anyways. So I see you laughing. You already know this.
Yeah, it's like bringing back a memory and like makes me cringe.
Yeah, for sure. And it takes you have to get past it, obviously. So I'm assuming you had
Mhm.
to go through a process. You took a break. So, we'll talk about the later stuff after, but talk to us a little bit about the break. What did you do during this break? And how did you decide to come back? Because some people, it would be just like, hey, hit it and quit it. Like, I'm done. I did that. I tried that. I'm over it now.
Yeah, so actually initially it was that like it was it was like I'm done with this, like F this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna do this ever again. And I also, since it was COVID, I just took the year off to like go to therapy, and I was living at home with my parents, so I didn't have any bills or anything like that, and I was getting
Yep.
what is it? The
Serb.
COVID beneficent? CERB, yeah, CERB.
Thank you, Daddy
So I
Trudeau,
was
for that.
politics.
Doesn't matter what you think about politics. Thank you for the checks. Everybody cashed them.
Yeah, they were very helpful. So to pay off my therapy. So yeah, I
Yep.
just went off to a therapy, and I did a lot of personal work. Like
Mm-hmm.
I did a deep dive into my values, what I really wanted out of life, and just started building a routine that I wanted, and it paid off like 4 years later, and I'm here and back, and like I decided to come back because I took a corporate job just because I wanted to see if I would be good at admin.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to try it out, and turns out that I don't like corporate. Um, and it really gave me the anger and the push to go back into my business, because I'm like I cannot see myself sitting at this desk for the next 5, 6 years, like hating my life and not wanting to get up. Like I don't want to live that way.
Yeah. It's the anger part that resonates with me a lot as
Mm,
well, right? Where it's like I don't want to live my life this way anymore. And sometimes you're inspired. Sometimes, like for me, I saw other people that I knew that were entrepreneurs, and they were like making their own way in life. And for me, that was like everything. I was like, I don't want to be stuck at this desk. Look at these other people. They're doing what they are passionate about, and they
yeah.
get paid, and they're able to fulfill their dreams. And so you have to take the plunge, and sometimes it comes out of anger, sometimes it comes out of inspiration, sometimes it comes out of frustration. But you have to do those things, and you did the right thing at first on working on yourself.
Mm,
There's so much that can be lost in just pushing it down and trying to move forward. And by taking some moments and truly trying to understand why you're doing or behaving the way you are, what are the things that are most important to you, and how are you then going to turn those into actionable steps to move forward. Those are the things that are actually going to help you propel and be better, and supersede some of your own expectations. I'm sure you've seen this already in your own life, where you're looking at things from almost like the outside looking in, and
mhm.
you're saying, oh, you know what, I wish I my life was this way, and I wish my life was that way. But going to therapy or working on yourself in any which way, it allows you to stop looking from the sidelines, and it allows you to kind of like jump into the conversation and kind of take control of your life. Otherwise, it kind of feels like you're going out of control, and that's something nobody wants to feel like when they're trying to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah, I resonate with that so hard. You
I
just
love it.
take the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I don't
said
even
it
need
all.
to. Yeah, you said it all.
So you take a break from COVID, not from COVID. You take a break during COVID for
Mm.
about a year, and then you come back. And what's different this time than the time before? Does it feel different? Do you feel more in control?
Yeah, I think the craziest thing is I feel more like myself.
Mm,
Um, so first year, I always go back to this because first year university was the year that I just felt the most confident and most myself. And then as the years progressed, I kind of lost it.
yeah.
And then when I got that year off, I got to really look at myself. And now I feel like I understand that feeling within me of what resonates and what doesn't. So when I'm choosing what I want to niche down on, for product wise, I ended up with mini cakes and cake boxes, like mini
Mm,
desserts. And also, like, I feel like entrepreneurship, like a lot of us need that gut instinct
yep.
to know what direction they need to go in. And I think that was the one thing that I developed
Got it.
a lot. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
did I answer the question? I
I
don't even
hope
know.
so.
Yeah.
You did, and
Okay.
you think that you were trusting yourself a little bit more, um,
Yes.
and you were kind of making more concise decisions to go with maybe fewer products.
Mhm.
Sometimes you saturate. And again, this is what happens at the beginning, where you're offering anything and everything to please
Mhm.
people. But then when you are doing this in the sense of like a business, now you're doing something in a way that's really going to answer a question. Say, what does Janna Bakes really do and do well? Well, we do X or XYZ, right? Like these are the things that we produce one, two, and three. Here's how we're going to
Mhm.
deliver it. Here's how we're going to market it. This is how we're going to produce them. So that's a big step from thinking like just a random person, like a freelancer. I'm just somebody who bakes, to somebody who I own a a shop. I own a
Mhm.
baking cake company. That is completely different mindset from just whatever order comes in, I just do it. So I think that's something that's very good that you've been able to do that in a short amount of time.
Yeah, and it's kind of now making me realize what else is different. It's it's the having standards.
Yeah.
Like, having standards to have processes, to implement processes, to actually cost my things, not just being like, "Okay, it's $50." Like, and yeah, yeah. So,
So when you came back and you started, how soon before you had like a kitchen, and how many hours were you spending in the kitchen, like testing or creating products inside there?
before I came back.
No, when you came back, when you first came back after your break.
Oh, okay. So, I always had the rent kitchen, like, ready to go.
Yeah.
So once I came back last July, I believe, I just went back to there and just signed up and that was ready to go. Products wise, I started making mini cakes at home and started making it for like friends and family
Mm.
just to see how people like it.
Yeah.
So that's what really started it. And then once I started promoting it to my friends and families and my boyfriend's friends and family, then they started ordering, and then that's when I started building my portfolio for them.
Got it.
Hmm.
And what else do you do for marketing? How do you bring a product to launch?
So what I like to do is I like to start posting stories about me making them and getting people hyped about them and really
Nice.
bringing people into the process. On social media, I'm very interactive, or I try to be at least, and I want to have kind of like that personal level when it comes to social media. Like, I don't want to just like post something and be like, okay, bye for me. Like, I want it to be like, this is what I'm doing now. This is what my day to day is.
Yep.
I'm struggling, but I'm grateful. Like, yeah. So hype first, and then make it for friends and post that as well and see how people like it. Doing a lot of markets, posting that and getting the feel of how people are responding to it. And then that's when I really do the launch. Like, I'll post that like, hey, this is the flavor. It's really popular. I have all this evidence behind it because all these people are saying that it's good. I have like
Right.
proof. And then yeah, just really getting the hype and getting
Yep.
people involved.
Social proof
Hmm.
is very powerful. So are you
Hmm.
mainly on social media? Is that how you usually promote a lot of your work, like on IG?
Yes. IG, I'm trying to get into the TikTok scene because like I'm so addicted to it, so might as well be
Yeah.
one of the content creators as well.
Yeah. So
Um,
I asked you this before we started recording. I said, "Are you on TikTok?" Because I feel like your content would bode really well on TikTok. Um, just because I feel I'm very weird. I guess everyone's for you page is a little bit weird, but I'm
mm,
very I have a very mixed for you page where I love like watching woodworking. I also follow a few bakers and people that make food. Chef Reacts, the guy from Toronto, he's really popular.
mm,
That really crazy pastry chef guy who does these ginormous sculptures out of chocolates. Like, there are so many
Mm-hmm.
cool creators that are not selling you something, but they're selling you something. And I feel like something like what you're doing, especially after looking at your IG profile, would work so well on TikTok because it has that real vulnerable aspect to it where you're kind of just sharing about where you're at, what you're going through, and how you're making these cakes. I think that's something that you should really explore. And I know you said you're trying to get on there.
Yeah, it's it's quite hard for me, I feel, because I'm so thankful that you said that my page gives off the vibe that I'm being authentic and being like showing my process, because that's how I really want to live my life.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to that, there's a lot of fear behind that as well. And I feel
Mm,
like TikTok's the app where like people like you want to see people's personality.
yes.
That is what is really popular on TikTok. And like as I go, I'm definitely going to post more about myself and like my process and be more authentic on that app.
So
Yeah, I
what
think
would you
I
say
agree.
are you really scared of the reception, like how people will take it, or just about being vulnerable online?
I think both. I like I am scared that people are gonna critique my work, or they're gonna say, why is she here? Like
Mm,
what is like there's I don't feel like I can take up space on online, just those voices in my head of of
yeah,
judgment.
yeah. We're our own worst enemies. Every artist knows this very well. No matter
Yeah.
how hard you are on, no matter how hard other people are on you, you're always harder on yourself. Um, so yeah, I would say try it. Like, there's so much opportunity. From my side, I'm in a different boat. But yes, like IG is to us basically dead. Like, it does not
Mm,
work the same way. We missed the bandwagon to build a really good following. You still can build a following. It's just what it takes and requires. I don't think I'm ever going to be willing to put the work in, but I see
mm,
our YouTube and I see our TikTok growing every single week. And I'm just like, okay, so our content is good. We just were posting it on the wrong place. Rather than reels, let's make TikToks. Rather than putting static posts, let's make short videos for YouTube. So that's where it's just finding the right niche for
mhm.
where your content should live. Because you can try TikTok and you'll be like, you know what, it's actually not working. We tried this for like 6 months and I'm not getting the same results as the IG page, and it just depends on the audience and how you create the creative, like create the content for it. That's how people are just going to be like, okay, this works here, I'll follow here. But I'm a big proponent of, like, if it's not working, stop doing it. Like,
Yeah,
if Facebook is not it, then just don't post on Facebook anymore. Do less and do it better. Those things are always going to help you find who your people are. You don't have to find everybody, just find who your people are.
I agree. I agree. And listening to your podcast, I find it very wholesome, and
Oh,
I love
thank
how
you.
like genuine, authentic it is. So I can see why on TikTok and YouTube it would blow up. Yeah.
Yeah, blow up is a very strong term. We have not blown up in any way whatsoever. So if you're watching this right now, please give it a like, follow, and subscribe. That's a selfish plug for my own show as I'm the host. But even okay, let's talk about now. So let's say COVID is quote unquote over. Uh,
Mm,
excuse me. Oh, COVID is over. So how does that look for you now, where you've been doing this again, launching? I think it was this year you started, really pushing hard.
yeah.
What's happened in the first quarter of the year so far? What are some of the wins that you've experienced?
So some of the wins is I did the Canada's Bridal Show. So that one was a
Oh,
really big one.
very
Yeah,
nice.
and I kind of took a hit from that, but from what I learned from it and the confidence that I gained from it, I think it's worth it. Like
What do you mean a tickle hit?
Like a
Like
financial hit.
financial hit? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a huge marketing. It ended up being like a huge marketing
It's basically the
things.
marketing budget for the whole year.
Yeah, basically. But but slowly, my revenue is slowly increasing, which is a big win.
Nice.
And doing markets and solving the problem to my mini cakes situation.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find a process to make the mini cakes faster, and I ended up with a lot of scraps because I would
Right.
cut out the shapes. Um, I used the scraps for the cake boxes, and that ended up being the
Mm.
market favorite, the solution to the problem.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
isn't that crazy how that works?
It's
Like,
amazing.
and it's crazy the fact that I never used to think that I was really a flavors person. Like I was more
Yeah.
of like make things look pretty, but now I'm realizing that a lot of the time, like looking back at memories, people love the taste of my cakes. Like flavor is my thing, and now I get to play around with it. So that's a huge win, like just getting my creative power back
Very
when it comes to
cool.
baking. Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't necessarily know the full results of the wedding show, the bridal show, wedding show, what bridal show? I forget which one it is.
Bridal show?
The bridal
Bridal
show,
show. Yeah.
because somebody may have picked up your card or promo, and they're gonna call you in 6 months. It's one of those things where it's like there's a lot of it's a long tail type of venture, but yeah, it's
Mhm.
very hard and complicated. But you're doing the right things where you're trying to learn, you're trying to stay curious, you're trying to see how you can problem solve. And like you said, that ended up being the product leader was the solution to the other product that you already launched. And by doing that, and if you continue to do that, listening to your customers, finding solutions, there's no way you don't win because if you look at the indicators, key performance indicators, let's say like how many people have bought or sold, or how many items have been sold, and how many
Mhm.
reviews you're getting, you can start to see which flavors are the best. You start doubling down on that type of category. People like the citrus flavors and stuff like that. Then you start just rinse and repeat, and you kind of refine it even more and more towards what people want from you, and it works so that when you launch something that's new, you're almost like you made it for them. People are like, oh, that's perfect, this is exactly what I needed. Yeah, no kidding. I've been listening.
I
i've been
listen to you.
I listened to you guys, and I kind of figured out exactly what you're looking for. And people do this in ginormous companies, but usually entrepreneurs, it takes or new business owners, it takes us years to figure that out. It takes us years to figure out the tactics that are very simple that big companies have been using. But once you get a bit of a shortcut or a way to learn some of these skills early on, you get to see uh exponential growth in a way that's really meaningful to your bottom line, which is something that everyone wants. Everyone wants, at the end of the day, it is a business. We're here to make money. I'm not
Mhm.
just here doing this for fun, otherwise it would just be a hobby. But the fact that you've incorporated, you've made it into a business, a company, so this is where you have to kind of be mindful of those things about how much your cost of goods sold is, and how much your product and inventories are, and how you're delivering and how you're getting these products to people and all that type of stuff. So kudos to
Yeah.
you. I love the fact that you're learning so much about yourself, and you're learning so much about the product and the industry that you're in, especially as somebody who is new to the industry, right? Like, you're supposed to be a sociology major. So, anything else? What else have you been really doing or pushing for this year in terms of like goals for the business?
So goals for the business, I'm really trying to build it so that I can hire people. That
Yep.
is like honestly, yeah, like I really want to be able to focus on the creative side of it and really focus on um making new flavors cuz right now I'm really pleased with the cake boxes and
Nice.
like yeah, and the f- the flavors, the textures that I'm coming up with, like it's I'm like when you were talking about when you were talking, I was getting so excited because I'm like, yes, like learning, coming up with flavors, like really giving what the people want, but
Yeah.
also what I want. So honestly, my goal right now is just to really build it, get really connect with my customers and like build up that audience and hopefully make enough that I can like really really live on it. So that is my goal right now. I'm trying to really build it.
Yeah, that's exactly what you have to stay focused on it. And those
Mhm.
things come with time, and you just have to stay focused on delivering a great product, and
Mhm.
people will notice because, getting a properly made cake from a professional is not the same thing as going to the grocery store and getting a slab cake. And,
Mhm.
you're making people feel happy and celebrating occasions that are special to them. So those are things that if you continue to focus on, I think in any business where you add value to a customer, that's where you're going to see the greatest return on investment more than anything else, more than buying, really fancy aprons. I know aprons cost a lot of money, or renting a space to cook in and all that kind of stuff. That's
Mhm.
things can go really crazy really fast. Um,
Mhm.
Janna, I'm so happy that you're here. And if you're listening to this or if you're watching this on YouTube, take some time and go right now to go check out her Instagram channel, and go check her out on social media. Janna, where can we find you online?
So you can find me on my website, jannabakes.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Janna Bakes, and same handle on TikTok as well. And hopefully starting a YouTube page soon. So we'll
Okay,
see
there
about
we go.
that.
We have a content creator on our midst, guys. This has been the More
Mhm.
Life Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Peace out.